Because to be honest, when I leave out of here tonight, I'm not going to do it.
This might have to do it for you.
Well, Chantel's over there. Did they sign it? Yeah, the draft. The draft. Yeah, the draft. Okay, yeah, good. We wanted that. I don't want anything. I got enough stuff. Give it, go down to our office and give it to, excuse me. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Okay, you're making me forget okay, I gotta do something for Jackson.
Are we in the same spots where we were in at our party? Is this big? Okay.
That's correct.
Okay, tell her how. All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Poorly written.
Then I need you to bring me a copy of, and it's a one-pager on the agenda. Okay, give me an agenda real quick.
He's really tall.
Oh, you know what? for tomorrow. It's for tomorrow's meeting.
Y'all ready?
And here's the thing, if you can't see, it's not, let's say you have a case, you can see that day, right? So the ranger's not here. When I see Roger, and then they'll work with you. I have seen Roger, Jimmy has seen Nita on the communications, but we always go, Rainer and they'll be all together.
They're already trained out.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Yeah, we have 5.
Tomorrow. That's whatever that is, bring it to me. Okay, thanks. Oh, she's talking to shut down. I'll tell her right
Yep. Y'all ready? Faye? Y'all ready? Kay? Anybody? Anybody?
Bernadette, are you lonely down there?
Huh?
Is it lonely down there?
I was the only child for 9 years.
You're not an only child, are
For
you?
9 years I was. But I'm not anymore. I have my mother now.
She has
My sister when I was 9.
What's her name?
Michelle. So yeah.
I bet you were spoiled. 9 years you would be home to live with.
She was an accident.
Now, you don't tell that to her.
It was a mistake. Oh gosh. Give the opportunity here and a reminder I was supposed to be the only child.
That's cold.
But I have everything.
Y'all ready?
now you have to share.
Don't worry.
Y'all ready? The time is 5:49. We have a quorum, and the meeting has been duly posted in accordance with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. Good evening and welcome to the public hearing. Will you join us in dispensing of the Pledge of Allegiance and the moment of silence? We'll have that at our main meeting. Board Presidents, starting on your left and my right, are Trustee Joyce Foreman, Trustee Dan Mitchke, Trustee Nancy Bingham. On my left, Trustee Bernadette Nuttall. I am Eric Cowan, Board President. Do we have a translator in the audience? In the back, thank you. This evening, we're here to discuss the 2015-16 proposed budget and proposed tax rate. Dr. Terry, would you please begin your presentation?
Well, thank you, President Cowan, board members, Superintendent. I first want to take this opportunity to certainly thank all of my budget. As you all probably well aware of, we lost a key member, and I want to give a special thanks to Christina Campos and Brandy Mayo, who came up and filled the position of leadership, and certainly all the other budget analysts. I'm going to actually go through the budget, and I want to thank Stephanie Goldman, who put this up. And so if you go to the web page for Dallas ISD and bring up the Dallas ISD, you then go to Dallas ISD budget, and then 2015-2016 budget, and then you can see here the 2015-2016 budget. And this should bring up your budget book. And if it doesn't, we could be in a lot of trouble. Okay, there it is, I think. All right, so we've got the tech people here. There we go. All right. Now, what's nice about this book is you can go to the table of content, and then the table of content, you can go to any part of the budget book, and it will take you to that budget book. I want to start here on page 10. And
I'm sorry,
I'm not,
where'd you go again? I couldn't find it.
couldn't find it?
Nope.
Look on your screen, it should be on your screen. Is it not?
I see the posting.
Okay.
Hold on.
I think they need to
Yeah.
switch over. I'll give you a second.
Up on the screen up there, but...
Yeah, I can't see, no, I have my glasses on.
Oh, no problem. Go to the Dallas. Where was it again? How do I get there? Dr. Terry, how do I get there?
How do I get this?
Can you,
Yeah, go to the home page,
we're there.
and the very bottom says Dallas, Dallas ISD. And then you will see Dallas ISD budget. Click on that. And then you'll see 2015-16 budget, and click on that.
Scroll down,
Scroll down.
scroll down.
That's,
Dallas ISD
there it
budget.
is, sorry about that.
Yeah. If you go to the bottom of the homepage. Okay.
It's, if you go to the home page, it's at the bottom of the page, it's in the middle column. In the top of the middle column on the home page, it says Dallas ISD budget. Click on that. And then go to the 2015-16 budget, not the summary, but the budget. What happened to the monitors that used to be up there?
Is it what you provided in the book, Jim?
I'm sorry?
Is it what you provided in this book?
Yeah, this is the, you all were sent, I believe, almost 2 weeks ago, the, what we call the brown pages. Is a 620-page book. I'm not going to go through all 625 pages unless you ask me. So where I am right now is I'm on page 10. I thought we used to have monitors that you all could look at. What happened?
We do. We just expected
You
it
good?
to be on the meeting agenda.
We good?
We're good.
Okay, so the budget process really begins with the Board of Trustees, and you all set the goals. You have 10 goals, and from there, the superintendent sets the district, what we call the district key actions plan, and I won't go through all of the steps, but they are essentially here. The next page is on page 11, and what this is that this is by law, which you all will have to adopt in your regular board meeting. And that is the 3 different funds, which is the general operating fund, the food service fund, and the debt service fund. And by law, it must be adopted by functions. And so on the far left, you can see function 1 through 99. So the total revenue in the general operating fund is just under $1.4 billion, and the expenditure side is just under $1.4 billion. You can see that it's balanced. Same thing with food service. Food service is $117 million, both on the revenue and expenditure side, and then the final fund that you must approve is the debt service, which is just under $212 million, and the expenditure side and the revenue side are balanced. So with that, I am now going to go back, and we're going to go to the presentation. And again, all you have to do is go to table of contents and click on that. And these first pages here are just kind of the budget calendar. We won't go through all of the steps other than to say tonight the budget should be approved. It has to be approved by law before June 30th. The next important date in the budget process is the setting of the tax rate. If the board chooses to have a special board meeting, which is the last day you can call an election, and the board chooses to call either a TRE or bond election, it would happen on the 24th. You could then set the tax rate on August 24th. Otherwise, the normal board meeting is on August 27th, which you would set the tax rate then. So we talked about by law what you have to approve. Here's the Board of Trustee goals, all 10 of your goals. These are the district key actions that the superintendent set for all of the budget managers. We have 330 organizations. Each organization has a budget managers, and those budget managers roll up all the way to the chiefs, and chiefs make final recommendations. This is the tax rate in and around Dallas ISD. We're at $1.28, and we are the third lowest tax rate in and around Dallas for school districts. The tax rate right now, which hasn't been set, is $1.04, and the INS is 24 cents for a total of $1.28. The taxable value has increased from by 8.5% up to just under $93 billion. And that's where we get the local, what we call the local dollars from the taxpayers. The increase in enrollment, you can see that the enrollment increase from last year to what we think will be next year is just under 1%, or 1,500 students. The proposed budget, you see the actual for 23-24. This is a projected amount for 24-25. You will have a budget amendment that you will look at your regular meeting. Right now, we remember that you all had made a budget amendment which essentially took $43 million out of the fund balance in order to do the bridge plan, and we are now predicting that we will have made up by underspending by approximately $30 million, so that the total reduction in the fund balance right now would be at $13 million. And for next year, we believe that the fund balance, which will start at $329 million, will end with the balanced budget. General fund estimate for 14-15, you can see 64 is local, and state is 29% with 7% federal. The general fund projected for 15-16 is 68% and 28%. So you can see is that it has moved about 4%. Most of that movement is essentially due to the $43 million that we, I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. So this is the revenue, 68% and 28%. Here is the general fund estimated revenue broken down for all 3 years, fiscal year actuals 2013-14, 14-15, and 15-16 projected. So you can see that the estimated from the current budget has gone up about $60 million. This is the general fund estimate coming from the state. You can see that the foundation school program, we believe will lose just a bit, and that most of it is miscellaneous revenue is coming down, and state TEI, the Texas Education Agency gave us $10 million for a contribution to the Texas retirement system, but after this year, that went away. So you can see that, in fact, we believe that our revenue on the state side will go down by approximately $16 million. The federal, as I've spoken before, the federal has come down considerably, and most of the reason for the reduction in the federal is that on E-rate and MAC SHARs, which is the money that we receive for handling kids that get public assistance, where there was a lot of money left on the table in this current year, and we went out and we got it, and we don't expect that kind of additional revenue in 15-16, and so you can see that from 15-16 to 13-14, we're pretty much back on track. I do want to remind you that on the federal side that we have two subsidies, and one is the Build America bonds of $18 million, which we brought into the M&O side. It could also be over on the INS side, but we brought it into the M&O side. And then qualified school construction bonds. We essentially borrowed $143 million, and the federal government pays the interest on those bonds, all except 0.35% for the next 29 years. I take that back, I guess it'll be 18 years. The estimated general fund expenditures, this is for this current year, where we expect it to be 75% for salaries and benefits, and all others 25% for a total of 1.387, and this is the current budget. For next year, it goes up to 78%, and the all others 32%, and this is where the $43 million in the current year was here, and that's a one-time takedown from our fund balance, and won't repeat itself unless you all decide otherwise sometime during next year. The total expenditure on the general operating side is $1.38 billion. These are some of the main key actions that we're taking. Salary, benefits, and increase just for all non-teachers, $10.4 million. School leadership and campuses, which include 10 assistant principals. Interest on short-term bridge plan. We are in the process now of getting prepared to sell $75 million in the maintenance tax notes for the bridge plan, and we estimated that the interest on the sale will be about $1.5 million. Special education, we're moving from special revenue fund to the general operating fund of $6.6 million. This is due to the rollover that we have used up, and in order to keep the program at the same level, we will now be paying those special ed costs out of the general operating fund. We're opening 4 new schools Fannin, Wilmer Hutchinson, Harley, and Holsey. This $2 million here is for review of the Distinguished Teacher Review people, and those are people that are now paid out of federal funds, and they're moving. We are not allowed to pay out of federal funds, so we have to pay a portion of their budget in the general operating fund. We have put in the budget $1 million for either a bond or TR election if the board decides that that's what they want to do. We have also moved the Reconnect program from the special revenue funds to general operating funds, and this is, again, because of the rollover money is not going to roll over next year. It's being used up, and this helps to recover students who have dropped out of high school, come back and get their degrees. We also have moved 23 counselors that were paid out of the special revenue fund or grant funds over the general operating funds. That will cost us $1.6 million. There are 7 additional teachers at Barbara Mann's, $420,000. City year, to continue with that, we need to increase $350K. And then finally, 64 additional pre-K teachers at a cost of $3.9 million. This here is showing you then by goal what we had adopted in 2014-15 and then 15-16, and you can see the percentage here. And I do want to say that these amounts here on Goal 2, Goal 6, and Goal 7, the human resources is the 3% pay raise we gave last year. We have not put that into the goal for this year, the pay raises, which would be, again, about $30 million, $10 million for all but teachers, and another $20 million for teachers, so that would be approximately $30 million. The culture dollars would would become base budget and would move into the 2015-16 also. This here is a bit dated. This is the 2013-14 actual expenditures per student by function, and what I provided here is some comparable school districts around the state. Houston, of course, is the only school district that is larger than us, and we've also provided some school districts that are in and around the Dallas area. This also is a bit dated. This is 2013 actual expenditures and by a percent by function, and again compares our district with other districts in and around Dallas area. You can see that on the instructional side, we're spending is the largest portion of our budget, which is just under 60%. This is the proposed budget by function. Please notice the right-hand column is that it's $1.388 billion. And I've shown you then the 2014-15 adopted budget, and then as we've gone through the year, you can see the amended budget which we are asking you for the end of June. The proposed salary increase, the administration is proposing a 3% increase for select work group. The employees eligible for the proposed increase includes, and you can read the list there. This is the proposed salary increase. Employees not eligible for the proposed 3% increase, and the principal fellows, the guest teachers, campus support staff not active, new hires after June 3rd, central staff, maintenance, and security, and those are new hires. proposed salary increase. Employees that are above or will be above the maximum of the pay range may receive all or some of the increase in the form of an over the max stipend. We don't want to increase the pay range, so what we do is we pay them a stipend, and then the following year, depends on what kind of salary raise we give, we could continue, but we don't stretch out those salary ranges. The proposed salary increase, district has moved designated work groups to alternative compensation plans, and again, I'll let you read that. Of course, the TEI for most of the teachers, and the PEI for the principals, which have been on, I believe, for 2 years, and then the assistant principal, the APEI guide. This here, then, is the teacher salary bachelor's degree for the current year, and I show this only because this is the last year, and this is what we call the floor under the TEI proposed budget schedule. And this is the same thing with the master's degree. This is the floor, which means that any current teacher would not receive anything less than what the floor is in future years. This is the projected salary based on the TEI. Under the proposed TEI, it's a normal distribution. When we actually look at the preliminary numbers, and I say this is preliminary, this is not actual, it's a little bit skewed to the left, but we do expect by the time everything is done and said that it will become a little bit more normal. This then is the anticipated salary increase in other districts for next year. Essentially, I believe about 56% of all districts will be at 3 or greater next year. Do note that this survey was done by TASB. The FTE comparison. You can see campus leadership, teachers 61. Now I will say that there were some changes in the teachers, and but in terms of the current FTEs and the proposed FTEs for next year is 61. The teacher assistants, and you can see. Now I do want you to note at the bottom of this on the far right is that the total increase in positions 248 from the current budget, but 208 of those were offset by reductions on the federal side or the special revenue side. So what happens is that we reduced and moved those positions up into the general fund. So the actual net in terms of the overall number of FTEs when you combine special revenue funds and general operating funds is 40 additional FTEs. Student to staff ratios, you've seen this before, though we, in the budget book, you can go and you can see the actual ratios we use to budget. At the elementary level, I believe it's 1 to 23, the middle school is 1 to 24, and at the high school it's 1 to 25, or 1 to 24, I'm sorry. But you can see that the actual numbers are considerably less. The elementaries, it's 1 to 16, at the middle schools it's 1 to 17, at the high schools it's 1 to 18. Now that doesn't mean that all classes are that size. You're going to have some that are larger and some that are lower. This is just average. And here are the staffing formulas: pre-K 1 to 24, grades K through 1 1 to 23, grade 5 1 to 27, and we have these other areas which we have special formulas for. Here is now, we'll move from the general fund into the food service. The estimated revenues and expenditures essentially has been balanced. And again, notice it's 117 million on the revenue side, and the expenditures, 117 million, so it will be balanced. Do note that we expect in the current year, the fund balance over on the food service to increase about 1.5 million to 17.6. This fund balance can only be used for kitchen renewals and renovations and items that are tied to the food service. They can't be used over on the general operating side. Then finally, the last fund that you all will have to approve is the debt service. And you can see that the projections for 15-16 will be a total revenue of 211 million, and that the expenditures will be 211 million. We have two major payments every year on the debt service side, is in August, and then we have another one in February, where we pay the bondholders interest, and we pay a portion of the principal down. This then is the current debt service fund in terms of the principal, which is $2.3 billion. The interest on that is $1.5 billion, so currently we're at $3.9 billion. I can tell you is that we've had the rating agencies in this last week, and we sat through Fitch, Moody's, and S&P, and Fitch reestablished for our next bond sale, the maintenance tax note of $75 million, AA+, with stable management. So that's really good news. We continue our ratings, high ratings with our agencies. Summary. So the summary is that we expect the revenues 1.388, expenditures 1.4, but remember what we do is we credit back what we expect the unexpended salaries with 66 million. That represents about 6%, which is the current unexpended salary of this year, which would take us down to $1.38 billion. It balances for all three funds. Special revenue funds, you do not pass the budget, but I did want to show you because this certainly is a major fund for the district. The projected award next year, we expect to be at least just under $149 million. We do note that 208 FTEs will not be in the general fund, but a lot of those FTEs are picked up in the special revenue funds, 208 reduction, but a lot of those are picked up into the general operating fund. Now, please note what we did here is we took the special revenue fund by Title I, Title II, Title III, special education, and we broke it down to the entitlement and the carry forward. And so essentially what we're saying is that the actual entitlement, we don't really expect to go down much. Where we're not doing is we're using our special revenue, or we're using our revenue funds much more efficiently, and therefore what happens is that you can see, as an example, in this Title I carry forward was in 14-15 we were carried forward almost $19 million. We expect only to carry $10 million, so essentially we've absorbed almost $9 million. We've reduced almost $9 million in the carry forward. Same thing with the Title II teacher and training, $1.4 million carry forward in English language acquisition. Actually is going to be just a bit more. Special ed, the carry forward is $4 million. So the total in the in the reductions is about 17, almost $18 million in the special revenue fund, which essentially saying is that we're spending the money now, and we're almost spending what it is that comes in. What we have also shown you here in the special revenue fund is how much is campus-based and how much is non-campus, and you can see that most of the reduction is happening at the non-campus level. So again, the total non-carry forward is almost $18 million. Question and answers. Before we break and hear from I'm going to take you back to the table of content, and I want to show you that we went through the budget presentation here, the district action plan, the general fund. We've shown you different cuts of the budget comparison by function, by object code, by function object totals, food service, debt service. We've shown you the same campuses, and what I will do here is I will go over to the campuses and show you that in this book, we give you kind of an index in this book, and this is all electronic, so you can pick up by alphabet one of these schools. You then can go the org number and thumb through your pages, or right here, this takes you right to the page. So you can go right to the page electronically, and then you can see the actuals for the audited numbers for 13-14. You can see the percent of total. You can see the current budget and then the proposed budget for next year. And then we've also got the total enrollment for all 3 years. And we break this down into the average daily attendance and teachers by years of experience. So we'll go back to the table of contents. So we also do the same thing here for the non-campus. Here's the non-campus. And again, it's in alphabetical order. So as an example, we can go to Division 1, and we can look at the divisions. And again, you can see actual, current, proposed. So we'll go back to the total. And then, of course, we provide in the book special revenue budget details, pending staffing ratios. So as you'll see, instead of the presentation, that one slide, it gets very detailed. And then EFACs, expendable comparisons, and that's 12-13, which is what they have current. So with that, I will then close and say thank you very much. And again, I want to thank my staff, and I want to thank certainly Ricardo and the VP and Christine and everybody else, Cynthia and Brian and Mark, and they have done a tremendous job, even though we lost a quarterback, and I hope that you will enjoy this electronic version where you can skip around and go to pages.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Trustees, this is pulled for a separate vote in our regular board meeting, so I'm going to ask you to hold your questions till then, because we'll probably rehash the same subject. So it is now time on our agenda when we hear from speakers who wish to speak about the proposed budget and proposed tax rates. Speakers are reminded that they are to address the board and not individual trustees. Ms. Goley, please call the speakers' names.
We have one speaker. When you arrive at the microphone, please state your name and address. Our speaker is Michael McNaughton.
Well, good evening, trustees. Ms. Misko, welcome to your first meeting. Hopefully it won't be till 2 in the morning this morning. My name is Michael McNaughton, 4909 Mill Creek Circle. I'm in District 1, Edwin Flores' district. I'm one of the appointed members of the Citizens Budget Review Commission. And I must tell you tonight that I have more questions than answers, even as a member of that commission. And I'm rather dismayed because of the course of the budget presentation and the review. Our Budget Commission received the same budget that you did at the same time, just about a week or so ago. It's not in a format that is easily searchable in terms of year-over-year trends. There's very little time to do any kind of analysis, but you will adopt it tonight. You will amend it in August, as you normally do. So, we'll move on. In the process of these meetings at the Budget Commission, which was founded by you trustees 7 years ago in the midst of a budget crisis, and I have been the lone speaker the last 4 years at these meetings. There's not very much interest in the budget from the public, apparently. However, at these meetings, we were presented to, rather than waterfalling information to us and allowing us to try to suss out what the needs of the district could be and how we might help, we were given PowerPoint presentations that were then read aloud to us. You know, trustees, we can read, and we can also help. I sincerely hope you've had your questions answered at the budget workshop. Oh, wait, you didn't have a budget workshop, did you? Well, never mind. The reality of paying for the Miles 2020 programs and projects has not been fully fleshed out, but clearly the administration believes it cannot make the $1.4 billion yearly cash flow work, as it has abandoned the traditional bond election approach and is pushing for a tax ratification election, which will set up a public facility corporation that can then issue bonds at will, in perpetuity, without a public vote, to fund construction and operations. That's right, bonds issued to fund operating costs. And this is the height of folly for any governmental entity supported by our tax dollars. I urge the trustees tonight to consider an independent audit of the general fund expenditures for the past 3 years. You need a clean budget slate without any surprises, and you actually owe that to the citizens of Dallas County. Thank you very much for your time this evening.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. The time is now 6:28, and this concludes our agenda for the public hearing. We are adjourned. We'll take a few minutes to reset for our main board meeting.